Okay, so we can talk about one thing that that we actually found through testing, right? And it's just like you find these things, you think about things, you put them into practice. It's like testing a hypothesis, right? The scientific method. You come up with an idea, you think about that idea, you put it into practice, you draw a conclusion, and you redo the whole thing, and it's the whole series of refinement that is deck building. And so one thing that I think I found, and maybe I'll use a little tool to help us here. One thing that I found, Eternatus is not busted. Eternatus probably tier 1 card, but Eternatus is not going to break the format. And I'll tell you why. So Eternatus, y'all know, is, you know, probably the biggest, baddest Pokemon to come out of this next set. A lot of people are really kind of nervous about it. Let me put it up on the screen here. Where are we at? They're nervous about how much it'll cost. They're nervous about a lot of things with Eternatus. Let's see. Window capture? Nope. Window capture? Nope. 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 Wait, it should be, let's just do a window capture. Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. So Eternatus, you know, everybody kind of knows this is kind of the big bad card of the next set, but I actually think that it's not, here, let me put it actually lower than the webcam. Okay. Eternatus is not actually that busted. So Eternatus, the ability Eternal Zone, if all your Pokemon in play are dark, you can have up to 8 Pokemon on your bench, and you can't put non-dark Pokemon into play. So there are 4 problems with Eternatus, and these 4 things should actually be played a significant amount, okay? So you wonder, like, is Eternatus going to break the game or not? I don't think so, and here is why. This is my hypothesis that through testing we've found to be somewhat true. So the first one is the energy costs. You look at the 2 attachments. There's no real good way to ramp up the attachments. I mean, you have the red and blue on like a Weavile, and you also have the first attack on the Eternatus V. But 2 energy attachments, you can flip for that. Like you can do like a Crushing Hammer or something, get rid of that. You can do like a Giratina, get rid of the capture energy that they have attached. I'm not worried. There are ways around the 2 energy attachments for Eternatus. It's clunky to put in Weavile. The second thing that's potentially hazardous to Eternatus is Vikavolt. Item lock is insane against Eternatus. Item lock is really, truly insane because as the Eternatus player, you do not have access. You do not have a very explosive start because you can only get 1 Crobat per turn. It's very gatekept there in that sense. You don't get access to Dedenne. You can't play, you know, Eldegoss. You just get bodied by an early item lock because you're unable to draw the cards that you need. And especially with a Crobat engine, you need to be able to discard cards, play cards from your hand. You know, presumably that would be trainers. You know, you need to play your quick balls to thin your hand down. But you just can't do that under item lock. So like Vikavolt is a real problem to Eternatus. Next problem is Decidueye. Decidueye is almost impossible for Eternatus to beat. You could put in like 2 Hoopa. You could probably put in 4 Hoopa and you still don't beat Decidueye with Eternatus. Like, I just don't even think it's possible because all the dark attackers, like, there's no good dark attacker that can one-shot a Decidueye. And that's what you really need. That's what you really need. I mean, I'm sure we could workshop one, but okay, let me take that back. There's no dark attacker, there's no basic dark attacker that can one-shot a Decidueye for like 1 or 2 energy. I think that's pretty safe to say. The last thing that I think will gatekeep Eternatus that any deck can play is Belelba and Bryson Man. So yeah, you have Belelba and Bryson Man. This is, this tag team card. We all know and love it, but it hasn't really ever been used outside of mill decks. Discarding 3 cards kind of sucks. Like, we don't ever really want to do that, but we're going to use it for the second effect here. You play this card, discard 3 cards from your hand, and then your opponent discards down until they have 3 bench Pokemon. So, like, we've seen this effect in the past be used. Like, Parallel City would be a good example of kind of this effect where sometimes it doesn't actually help. Like, it helps you in a certain way and kind of hurts you in another way. Like, if you Parallel City your opponent, but you're a fire, grass, or water attacker, or lightning attacker, whatever. You get the damage reduction. But anyway, so like this hurts us because we discard 3, and we also had to discard our bench down. But in some ways, that's good because we get to rid ourselves of our Dedennes, our Crobats, and things like that. And then if you're going to ask the Eternatus player to refill their bench every single turn after like a Belelba, I could see one Belelba and Bryson Man going in a lot of decks to be just that one kind of catch-all counter card to Eternatus. Not that it's a perfect counter, but just that it also has a benefit of like being able to reduce your own bench and then destroying their bench. Like, let's say they have a full bench of 8. You discard 5 of those Pokemon, you think they're getting them all back on the next turn? Not a chance. Drawing, up to 6 from one Crobat. That's why I think Eternatus is very gatekept in this format, because there are ways around it. It seems like a great deck. It seems like an awesome deck. And it is. Like, to an extent, it is like the best archetype to come out of Rebel Clash. But it's not something that we need to be worried about because there are a lot of counters to it. And anybody that's like freaking out, like, I got to get my 4 Crobat. I got to get my 4/4 Eternatus. Like, it should be a good deck, but like, do your research. There are definitely ways around Eternatus for sure. For sure. I've outlined 4 right now during this segment, but there's definitely more. There's definitely more out there that we either don't know or haven't tested yet. But these are the things that looking at it from the testing that we've done, just to say, like, Eternatus is not that bad. You might think 2 energy, 270, like we're getting out of control. That is not the case at all. So please, please, please do not freak out over Eternatus.